New UFC signing Losene Keita just made the biggest mistake of his professional career, and it might cost him way more than he thinks in this video. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam.
Alright, Losene Keita just did a big mistake. Now, of course, you can argue if it was a mistake or not, but I have a pretty clear take on that. So Losene Keita, right, a guy that has a phenomenal record, only has one loss in his record, and that is by foot injury, right? A lot of wins, all in the organization, or most of them in the organization Octagon, which is for the guys in the US, if you're watching this, or somewhere around the world. Probably right now, the biggest organization in Europe, together with Cage Warriors, but I would say Octagon is the #1 in Europe right now, just not even because of the talent they have, more because of the shows they put on. They put on crazy shows and sell out huge arenas all the time. They're absolutely killing it. And he is, or was, their champion. And because of that, got signed to the UFC, right? And what did happen? Losene Keita got a huge opportunity by getting the chance to fight Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull is freaking number 11th ranked and comes off a win. Pitbull came in, made his debut against Yair Rodriguez in a fight that if he wins that fight, he fights for the belt next. He loses the fight by decision. In his next fight, fights Danige motherfucker, beats Danige. Was it spectacular? No, but he knocked him down, all of that. Beats Danige and is now number 11th ranked, and in my opinion still would get fast-tracked to a title shot if he would have a phenomenal finish or something like that, because he is a former multiple-time Bellator champion, right? He's the biggest champion ever of Bellator in terms of defenses and all of that. So he's a real legend in the sport and 11th ranked. And you are getting the chance to make your debut. It makes no sense for people to take that fight. You're 11th ranked, you just won your last fight, and you fight a no-name that, respectfully, other than people that watch Octagon, no one knows. Not even I knew who he was, and I watch a whole lot of MMA. I just don't watch Octagon that often, to be honest. But you get such a huge chance, and he has a lot of followers, don't get me wrong, it's not like he's a no-name overall, but in America, people don't really know him, right? You get such a huge chance. That makes no sense at the end of the day. It makes no sense for people to take that fight. That fight overall makes no sense. Like, why? Why should you get that fight? He gets a fight though. Biggest chance of his life. If he wins that fight, he's number 11th ranked in the UFC with one win. That would be unheard of, right? His stardom would go through the roof. The eyes on him would be crazy. All you gotta do, other than win the fight, but even if you just show up, you already gained a lot of momentum and new followers and whatever. All you gotta do in this job of a UFC fighter to be able to get into the Octagon is making weight. Now let's look at Losene Keita, Black Panther, making his way. Or his fight, alleged fight, or planned fight in Paris, right? Let's just take a look. It doesn't say which weight class, but as far as I know, all his fights were at 145. If there's anything different, last weight 154, okay, maybe he won his last fight at lightweight, but he definitely fought at featherweight before, and he himself decided to fight at featherweight in the UFC. No one forced you, bro, right?
149.
Misses weight by 3 pounds. Well, the featherweight limit is 146. He weighed in 149, which is 3 pounds overweight. And that was in the beginning of the weigh-ins. They gave him, I think, 3 more hours to cut the rest of the weight. At least if you listen to Patricio Pitbull, his opponent, they gave him 3 more hours to cut the weight until 11 a.m., which is when the weigh-in window closes, right? And he kind of refused to cut the last 3 pounds. And as I said, allegedly, if you believe Patricio Pitbull and people that were there, started to eat again. Because, look, you can see he's shredded, but there's a lot of weight still to take off here. Look at his face. His face is not really like sucked in at all. And I don't say your face should be sucked in because it's obviously not a healthy look, but there is no way in this world that he could not cut another 3 pounds. No way. Easily he could cut another 3 pounds. He refused to do so. Now, I think that he refused to do so because he thought, hey, I just come in 3 pounds overweight. People's gonna take the fight anyways. He lives in Brazil. He came all the way here to France now to fight me. He's not gonna not take the fight now because obviously Pitbull can decide whether he takes a fight or not. And if he takes a fight, he gets a percentage of a purse. And there is a lot of people that say, I think, but Dominic Cruz is the most famous one that always claims that some people miss weight on purpose because it obviously is an advantage if you come in a little bit overweight. It's much easier to rehydrate. It's much less hard on your body and all of that. Your brain fluid is still there, right? And I am not trying to accuse him of it, but to me, if I would have to make an assumption, he did miss weight on purpose, thinking, doesn't matter, he's gonna take the fight anyways. But Patricio, smartly, in my opinion, did not take the fight and said, no, I'm not gonna fight you. I already gave you a big chance by taking this fight. I already granted you a birthday wish by taking this fight against you, where Patricio has nothing to gain. If Patricio beats Losene Keita, no one cares. No one gives a bollocks, bro. If Losene Keita goes in there and knocks out Pitbull or something, everyone's like, who is that guy? Oh my god, ESPN, MMA, UFC, the whole Instagram will be filled with him. The new star, right? That's why I did that matchup as well, to build the new younger guy against the older legend. That's what they tried to do, right? So it's completely reasonable that Patricio did not take that fight. Now he called out Arnold Allen for Rio, which is a much better fight, a fight that makes much more sense since Arnold Allen is ranked number 6, right? And Rio is pretty soon as well. That's a fight that makes much more sense. And funnily enough, there's a video here. I just saw that. Losene Keita on his UFC debut. I don't know what a loss is. These guys do. Bro, I can tell you. You now definitely know what a loss is. You just lost to the freaking scales. You didn't even lose a fight. You lost to the scales. You lost to the easier opponent. Come on, bro. That's disgusting. Like, honestly, of course, benefit of the doubt. Is it possible that he's injured and he's sick, whatever, and somehow just could not make the weight? Yeah, but if you're that sick, first of all, he doesn't look sick at all. And you can normally see in someone's face. And look, now he's gonna smile in a second. He does not look sick. Does this guy look like sick or anything to you? No, he doesn't. And if you're injured that bad that you could not make a weight cut, because an injury normally should not affect your weight cut unless you're on heavy medication, then you should not take the fight anyways. Then why even take the fight? Then it makes no sense anyways, right? So I don't hope he comes out with excuses. I hope he just says, look, I was stupid. I did like Brian Battle did. I did not make the weight. I hope that's what he says. I hope he doesn't come up with excuses. But of course, it is hypothetically possible that something somehow came into his way, but there's still no excuse that he showed up to miss the weight. There's just no excuse for that. And he definitely messed up with the UFC brass as well, because I would not be surprised if they're like, look, bro, you are now going to get the hardest fight possible against the opponent with the least name possible. Like someone that is also a killer, but does not have a name yet. That if you beat him, no one cares, somewhere on the prelims first fight, right? That's the move that UFC should do. And he cannot be pissed if they even cut him. It's not like they have not done this before. Look at Brian Battle on a long win streak. They just cut him from the UFC. Don't think that you're invincible, my boy. You can get cut too. And I would not like him to be cut because I would like to give him a second chance and I would like to see him in the UFC octagon. But I would love for them to give him the hardest fight possible against a no-name on the prelims because you need to face a punishment, bro. And of course, there's already a punishment in not facing Patricio Pitbull, which, as I said, would have been an amazing fight for him. Also, stylistically, I think a fight that he can win. But bro, you cannot do things like that in the big leagues, bro. You cannot talk all the talk so big the whole time, act like you're the next big deal, which you maybe even are, right? And then lose to the scales. Before you even fight someone, you lose to the scales already. This, in my opinion, is just very, very cringe. And I really hope that he can bounce back, that he learns his lessons and will never miss weight again and can show us his raw talent in the octagon next time around. And I'm actually looking very forward to seeing him in the octagon. I do think he's a very talented guy that has a bright future ahead of him, but definitely a lot of things to learn from that big mistake. And I can't wait to see what the UFC will do about that. What do you think about that whole scenario? Write in the comments, you guys. Do you think he was just sick, injured, whatever? Do you think he should get cut? Whatever, write in the comments, like this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel, would appreciate that. Check out all the links in the bio, my merch, all the good stuff, bloodshop.net. Check it out, you guys. Stay bloody, and until the next one, bye-bye. Bloodsport out.